Hi guys, JT here, and today I'm bringing you some information on 10 games in Fanatical Survival Horror Bundle of April 2026. To help you answer the question, should you buy it? By using the links in the description below, you'll gain access to this bundle and support the channel in the process. Before I begin, I'd like to thank you the viewers for watching my silly videos. I hope they're helpful. Most importantly, knowing that you're watching it means the world. Anyway, let's get into this. At number 1 we have DreadOut 2, a third-person survival horror title that expands upon its cult classic predecessor by blending Indonesian folklore with ambitious new mechanics. This game continues the journey of Linda Melinda, a high schooler gifted with the ability to see supernatural entities. You primarily utilize her smartphone camera to banish ghosts, a system reminiscent of Fatal Frame, while the sequel introduces a more robust melee combat system for physical threats. However, your experience will likely be marred by a significant lack of polish. While the game seeks to create a vast semi-open world, you may find the daytime exploration segments feel hollow and devoid of meaningful interaction. The ambitious shift toward a Silent Hill-style atmosphere is hindered by technical shortcomings, including frequent frame rate drops and clunky, frustrating combat. You'll often encounter stun locking during battles and imprecise hitboxes that lead to unfair deaths. Visually, the creature designs are a highlight, effectively drawing from local urban legends, and Linda's character model remains high quality. Yet, the inconsistent presentation, varying from voice dialogue to untranslated text, constantly breaks your immersion. The game fluctuates between genuine scares and campy schlock, making it feel more like a passion fan tribute than a professional production. If you can overlook the janky mechanics and a shoestring budget feel, you'll find a culturally unique horror experience. But for most, the lack of refinement makes it an insufferable struggle that fails to live up to its own grand potential. At number 2 we have Them and Us, a survival horror game that started as an indie Resident Evil 2 remake. The story takes place in 1978 and follows Alicia, a woman imprisoned for 9 years for horrific crime. She survives a prison transport bus crash and wakes up in a creepy mansion in the middle of a forest. Alicia quickly finds the mansion infested with zombies and must survive, while discovering the ties of the mansion and its occupants to herself and her missing daughter Emily. From the get-go, you can choose to play the game in either classic Resident Evil style with fixed camera angles and tank controls, or Resident Evil 4 style and over-the-shoulder perspective. You have access to a small inventory that can be accessed at any time, containing items, found documents, and personal notes. Because of its limited space, you have to constantly manage it and decide what to carry and what to leave behind. You'll be navigating through the mansion and its grounds filled with locked doors that require various tools like levers, crests, and books to unlock and progress further into the game. Some puzzles are easy, while others are quite difficult. If you get stuck, you have to take a good look around for clues, as they are never far away. In terms of combat, you'll encounter plenty of zombies that will have their arms outstretched, slowly walking to you, trying to bite your juicy flesh and drink your blood. While most of them will beeline towards you, some of them will display unusual behaviors to trip you up. So be careful, especially if you're engaging them in close-range combat. There are a handful of guns that you can obtain, some only available after the first playthrough, but resources like ammo and healing items are very scarce, so you have to watch your resources as you explore the mansion and pick your battles. This becomes more apparent later on, as the game starts throwing more and more unique enemy types your way, often without warning, forcing you to switch tactics on the fly. Overall, Them and Us is a strong entry in the survival horror genre. The game's effective use of horror elements creates a sense of dread and tension that will keep players on the edge of their seats. While the game's difficulty may be a turn-off for some players, fans of classic survival horror games will find much to enjoy here. At number 3 we have The Alien Cube, a first-person Lovecraftian horror adventure that serves as a spiritual successor to The Land of Pain. Developed by solo creator Alessandro Gazzo, you step into the shoes of Arthur, a man who inherits a secluded cabin from his estranged uncle. This inheritance quickly spirals into a cosmic nightmare as you uncover a dark familial connection to a mysterious cult and the titular otherworldly artifact. Visually, the game is a masterclass in atmosphere, utilizing photogrammetry to create stunningly realistic environments. You'll explore everything from snowy forests to surreal dreamlike vistas that capture the essence of eldritch dread. The sound design further heightens your immersion, using 3D audio to make every alien screech and distant rumble feel unsettlingly close. While the presentation is top tier, you should expect gameplay that leans heavily into walking simulator territory. Most of your time is spent solving light environmental puzzles, like finding gears or keys and navigating scripted chase sequences. You might find the platforming and crushing mechanics somewhat clunky as they feel underutilized and occasionally suffer from input lag. Additionally, while the voice acting is decent, it is sparse, with much of the narrative delivered through scattered notes and journals. The alien cube is a thin slice of authentic Lovecraftian pie. It may struggle with technical optimization and simplistic mechanics, but if you value dense atmosphere and a faithful adaptation of cosmic horror themes, it offers a hauntingly beautiful experience that's well worth it in a bundle. At number 4 we have The Door in the Basement, an atmospheric pixelated horror game that transports you into a mysterious subterranean world after a strange doorway appears in your family home. As you navigate dark claustrophobic tunnels, you must complete puzzles and evade horrific creatures to uncover the secrets of this industrial labyrinth. With a very positive rating on Steam, it is a brief but impactful experience, generally lasting between 2 to 3 hours. You'll find the game's primary strength is its masterful atmosphere and sound design. The PSX-style visuals and pixelated filters create a liminal, dreamlike quality that keeps you perpetually on edge. While some players find the visuals cause motion sickness, most agree that the aesthetic elevates the tension. You cannot jump nor attack, which heightens the sense of vulnerability as you encounter unsettling enemies like pouncing spiders. The gameplay functions largely as a walking simulator, focusing on exploration rather than complex mechanics. While some critics argue the puzzles are basic and the runaway monster encounters are scripted, others praise the frequent save rooms and lack of frustrating backtracking. You'll likely appreciate the way it subverts expectations, preying on your anticipation of jump scares that don't always come. Purchasing it within this game bundle ensures you get the absolute best deal available. Whether you see it as a generic indie title or a deep ethereal horror masterpiece, the game offers a polished, spooky weekend experience that aims to get under your skin and stay there. At number 5 we have CashGrab Refunded, an online co-op horror roguelite where up to 6 players infiltrate a corporate hellscape known as The Grind to pillage resources and escape. The game focuses on physics-based interactions and fluid movement, tasking you and your friends of grabbing cash while evading monstrous threats. You can customize your grabber using a face upload system, making the inevitable deaths feel much more personal. As you dive deeper into this esoteric structure, the stakes rise alongside the potential rewards. You use earned cash to buy equipment, fund community goals, and unlock better loot. The experience is often described as friendly slop, a chaotic, grimy, and hilarious environment where you might solve problems together or simply dropkick your teammates for a laugh. It captures a specific purgatory vibe with simple graphics and crusty aesthetics that feel right at home for fans of PC-based VR horror titles like Big Scary. While currently in early access with a very positive rating, you should be prepared for some rough edges. Some players report technical freezing and crashes, and others feel it leans heavily on its low-budget charm. However, for a few dollars, it offers a fast-paced night of multiplayer mayhem. Whether you're discovering the truth about the big grabber or negotiating how to split the loot, the game thrives on social unpredictability. It is a straight-to-the-point horror comedy where you either get rich or die trying in the most ridiculous ways possible. At number 6 we have Creepy Shift Roadside Diner, a first-person horror experience that blends mundane work simulation with supernatural survival. You play as a desperate protagonist who, down on your luck and needing money, accepts a night shift at a secluded 50s-inspired diner. What begins as a routine job under the eerie glow of a blood moon, involving tasks like cleaning tables, washing dishes, and carrying boxes, quickly spirals into a nightmare governed by mysterious, life-saving rules. The game effectively captures a classic Americana atmosphere through its Art Deco visuals and excellent sound design. You'll find yourself bopping to retro jukebox tunes one moment, only to be jolted by a sharp jump scare the next. The developer delivers surprisingly strong voice acting, giving your character more depth than the typical silent horror lead. However, the experience is notably brief, often lasting less than an hour. This rapid pacing is a double-edged sword. While it ensures the game doesn't outstay its welcome, the supernatural elements often ramp up so quickly that you have little time to truly settle into the horror atmosphere. As the shift progresses, you must balance your chores with avoiding unique, well-designed creatures. While the scares are effective, the lack of procedural generation means the tension fades slightly on repeat playthroughs. Despite short runtime and occasional pacing issues, the game offers a unique genre mashup. If you enjoy creepypasta-style storytelling and don't mind a quick, intense shift, this indie title provides a satisfyingly spooky service. And number 7 we have Creepy Shift House for Sale, a first-person simulation horror game where you take an urgent handyman gig to prepare for a property for an investor. Your task is simple: pack boxes, repair damage, and clean. Armed with a tool belt, smokes, and a cassette player, you enter a dusty VHS world inspired by creepypastas. However, the previous family is missing, and the atmosphere is thick with unforgiving suspense. You'll find the gameplay feels like a spooky version of House Flipper. While the cleaning mechanics are light, the tool mechanics and box strapper machine are satisfyingly tactile. To survive the shift, you must follow weird rules and solve grim puzzles left by a deranged father. The horror primarily relies on jump scares and a constant lingering tension that makes you hesitate to move forward. The experience is relatively short, taking about 80 to 90 minutes to complete. While some players encounter technical bugs with zooming or layout saving, most find the value fair for the immersion provided. Interestingly, the narrative takes a sharp creative turn toward the end. You might be surprised when a grounded simulation shifts into sci-fi horror involving alien facilities and clones. This twist adds a darkly comedic layer to the finale that separates it from standard horror titles. Following previous backlash, the developers have replaced AI-generated content with community-created work, resulting in a more cohesive experience. If you enjoy psychedelic simulation with a bizarre narrative edge, this indie title offers a fun, unsettling thrill. And number 8 we have Draft of Darkness, a survival horror RPG that masterfully fuses deck building with roguelike dungeon exploration. You find yourself navigating a post-apocalyptic world through a grainy VHS-wrought aesthetic that feels like a Resident Evil nuts dream. Your journey involves exploring procedurally generated maps, grimy sewers, decaying hospitals, and radioactive streets, where the silence is only broken by the unsettling sounds of shuffling monsters and rhythmic coughing. The core challenge lies in a unique weapon-based combat system where you don't just manage cards, but finite resources like bullets, batteries, and syringes. You will quickly learn that playing a powerful card often requires more than just energy. If you lack the specific ammo, your devastating attack reverts to a weak bash. This creates a tense layer of micromanagement where you must constantly weigh the cost of every move against your dwindling supplies. You can recruit a party of survivors, each offering distinct mechanics, like Renee, who wields a high-damage chainsaw that hungrily devours fuel. While the meta progression is satisfying, rewarding you with booster packs and new starting cards even after death, the game is famously difficult. You'll face brutal status effects and scarce loot, requiring you to balance the darkness level of the map to earn better rewards. Although the cryptic story and some clunky dialogue might feel opaque, the deep strategy and oppressive atmosphere make it a diamond in the rough. If you enjoy punishing strategic depth and sublimely rancid vibes, this game is an absolute must-play. And number 9 we have Tower of Mask, a thrilling survival horror dungeon crawler that revitalizes the classic 80s grid-based formula with modern claustrophobic intensity. If you've been searching for a worthy successor to the Legend of Grimrock series, this title offers an eerie atmospheric descent into an ancient tower where sinister, masked humans prowl. You will find yourself trapped in a confined space where your survival depends on managing limited resources and utilizing your wits to overcome a relentless, haunting threat. What makes this experience unique is how you interact with the environment. While you move on a traditional grid, the game grants you free camera control and manual aiming. This innovation allows you to target enemies diagonally or land satisfying critical hits, making the real-time combat feel alive and responsive. You're not just swinging swords and spears, you can eventually find guns and magic, adding a unique punch to strategic encounters. As you explore the 9 levels of the tower, you'll encounter clever puzzles involving pressure plates and trapdoors that reward your logic without resorting to moon logic. You can customize your hero by allocating ability points upon leveling up, ensuring your build matches your playstyle. For a game in the bundle, the game delivers about 10 hours of dense, high-quality content. You'll face a dark, foreboding air reminiscent of Shadow Tower, where every corner holds a secret or horrifying new foe. If you value tense exploration and innovative combat, you should not let this hidden gem slip under your radar. And number 10 we have Fear the Spotlight, a third-person survival horror experience that serves as a debut title for Blumhouse Games. Developed by Cozy Game Pals, it delivers a nostalgic journey to the 1990s through a low-poly PS1-inspired aesthetic that feels both eerie and charming. You step into the shoes of Vivian, a shy student who sneaks into Sunnyside High after hours for a seance with her friend Amy. When the ritual goes wrong and Amy vanishes, you must navigate the dark atmospheric hallways to rescue her. The gameplay emphasizes exploration and tactile puzzle solving rather than combat. You'll find yourself interacting with environment objects in a satisfyingly manual way, such as physically dragging a cursor to unscrew bolts or turn dials. While the puzzles are reminiscent of classics like Resident Evil, they are more self-contained, ensuring you aren't overwhelmed. Since Vivian is asthmatic, you don't manage her traditional health bar. Instead, you monitor her lung status, using inhalers found around the school to recover after stressful encounters. Instead of jump scares, the game focuses on building an oppressive atmosphere and tension. You must use stealth to avoid the titular monster, a creature with a literal spotlight for a head. While the challenge may feel light for horror veterans, the emotional depth of the story and the relatable bond between Vivian and Amy make it an impactful experience. It is a beautifully crafted narrative-driven horror game that is perfect for you if you appreciate retro style and heart-filled storytelling. And that's all for this bundle. Whether you're a survival horror vet or just looking to pad your Steam library, the Build Your Own Survival Horror bundle is a total win. Snagging heavy hitters like Fear the Spotlight and DreadOut 2 for a steal is absolute god-tier value. Don't sleep on this drop. Grab your keys, check your corners, and get ready for a legendary grind. In any case, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if this video was helpful, feel free to leave a like and subscribe, and maybe consider buying the channel a coffee. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.